already going to have some technical difficulties. Dang it. Can you guys hear me? My cam went dead. I can't believe this. Hang on a second, guys. If you're there, I'm gonna jump out of the studio and I'll jump right back in. All right. Not surprised. All right. We there? We good? Okay, cool. It's gonna be interesting. I don't know, kids. It's gonna be interesting. Let's start this one out. Should the government be taking your money and giving it to other people? All right, let's start there. I want you to just answer that question in your head. You can answer it in chat if you want, but answer it in your head. Should the government be taking your money and giving it to other people? Now, whatever answer you have, what if that money was being used to defend our nation, our freedoms, our allies? What if it was being used to save the lives of American soldiers? Does that change the answer that you had in your head? This is a question we're going to have to ask ourselves tonight as we dive into this. I climbed down this rabbit hole, and there were times this week while I was climbing further and further into this rabbit hole where I've regretted that decision. But I'm a truth seeker, and I believe most of my audience is truth seekers as well. And I'm going to share with you what I found, the evidence that I found. And I'm going to say before we go any further with that I can't prove that the company that I'm going to talk about is the company, but I certainly think so. I certainly believe that. And you might after you see this as well. And even if it's not the company that I'm going to show you, right, I still stand by my original statement from, it's about 2 weeks ago now, that this is a defense contractor that's responsible for this. Okay. Let me say hi to chat real quick, and then we'll push forward. We got a lot of ground to cover today. I got a lot of stuff to show you. I want to say, first of all, hi to Lee, James, Wayne, JS Designs, and let's see. Am I missing anybody that popped in? If you're lurking, don't be afraid to say hi. We don't bite. Orlando Prepper, thank you. Coffee First, thank you. Appreciate you. No worries, Orlando. Hey, I recommend, and by the way, I recommend anybody to record this one. There's a good chance this video is going to get taken down. And I want to say for the record, please record this. And I want to say for the record that I'm a very happy person and I would never, ever do anything to harm myself or anybody else. Okay, so let's get that on the record before I start pulling back the curtain on some of the stuff that I'm going to show you tonight. Tuck, Successful Slave, good to see you all. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you. All right, yeah. If you can record this, you can share, and also if this does stay up, if this by some miracle stays up, I grant full permission. Listen to me here really carefully. If you're watching this, I grant full permission to remix any or all parts of this live stream and share them with anybody else who's interested in this topic. Okay, I grant full permission. If you want to post it as a short to your YouTube, you have my full permission. I'm not going to copy strike that. I'm not going to copyright it, anything like that. For this video, you can remix, you can reshare, you can use it as a reel, you can use it on TikTok. I don't care. I want to get this information out there. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, the question we are going to have to ask ourselves tonight is: would you give up some safety and security for the sake of more transparency from your government? And that's the poll question tonight. I want you to go to the top of the chat if you're watching right now. Vote in that poll. We're going to check it at the end of the night. So again, would you give up some of your safety and security or the security of the nation in exchange for more transparency for your country, from your country? It's a hard question. All right. Before we go on, just a quick reminder in chat: no racism, no sexism. Be kind to each other. Be kind to the mods. If you want to be hateful at me. That's fine. I don't care. But be kind to each other, please. So let's recap where we're at so far before we go into showing you the evidence and naming who I think it is. I think most people are in agreement that this is probably not aliens. It's not this little guy here. It's not something from outer space, you know. And if you believe that, that's fine. I mean, I'm not saying those things aren't possible. I just don't think that's what this is, because the navigational lights are to FAA specs. Now, I know there was rumors going around that they're not. No, these are to FAA navigational specs. The navigational lights that are on there, and they are mostly following FAA laws. Like, right, there's some rumors about incursions into restricted airspaces, and that could be a breach of law unless they had permission to do that. And in some cases, an organization or an agency or company may be granted permission to do that at a top secret clearance level, and they're never going to tell you or I that. And we're gonna get into that a little bit more. So I don't think that this is China, Russia, or Iran, because if it was those things, I think you would see more of a response. I think you would see these things getting knocked out of the sky one way or the other. I don't think it's that. And yes, I know we talked about this, that like, yeah, Joe let the Chinese balloon fly over the United States over multiple military bases. And that was a big mistake. And I don't know why he did that. You'd have to ask Joe Biden. I can't answer for him. Okay. But I don't think that what we're seeing now would go on as long as it has, if this was, China, Iran, or North Korea, or Russia, or any of those countries. Okay. Now, one of the leading theories that's been going around the internet was missing nuclear material. And several people in chat were talking about that before we went live, that maybe they're sniffing for missing nuclear material. Now, I don't think that's what it is. And I'll tell you why I don't think that's what it is. But I can't prove it. I could be wrong. And certainly they could lie to us. But supposedly the missing nuclear material went missing from a port container on December 2nd. December 2nd. These drones have been spotted, and we're specifically talking about New Jersey tonight. Yes, I know there's other incidents going on all around the country. I know. I've been following this. Believe me, I am reading everything that I can get my hands on this material. I know that's happening. I'm specifically talking about New Jersey tonight. What's going on in other parts of the world could be other incidents. It could be related to this. I don't know, but I'm specifically talking about the New Jersey drones tonight. Okay. The material that went missing on December 2nd. These drones in New Jersey started getting spotted almost every night since November 18th. So 2 weeks or so prior to the missing nuclear material. So I don't think it's related to that. Allegedly, the amount and type of material that went missing is really kind of negligible, and this does happen from time to time, and supposedly it's already been recovered. Okay. Now you can say, well, I don't believe that. Okay, I understand. There's definitely reasons to question the truth, right? So I'm just telling you my thoughts on this as we step further and further into this. Okay. What do we know? So Pentagon claims these are not ours. Okay. There is, and we're going to get into this in a minute, there is a legal loophole that the Department of Defense and the Pentagon can use to have plausible deniability and technically claim that materials that are being developed for them by a contract are not theirs. Legally speaking, that is truth. Okay. It's so much truth that they could probably pass a lie detector test with it. The question, for the average layperson, a citizen like you or I, it doesn't matter if it's owned by them or it's being developed for them. As far as most of us concerned, that's the U.S. government. Right now, the company I'm about to talk to you about is a private company. They are not the U.S. government. They received funds from the U.S. government to develop these vehicles, as I will call them. So, it's linguistics thing, but technically, legally speaking, yeah, these are not the Pentagon's. They're not theirs. They belong to a private contractor. Okay. So you see how they can stand in front of a microphone and say that, and they're not technically lying, which if you understand how to read body language, And my field, for those who are new to the channel, I'm a therapist by trade. I've spent 25 years sitting in a room with a person watching their body language. They will do just fine in most cases of passing a body language thing, unless you ask the exact questions. And the press, in all of the press briefings that I've seen so far, nobody has specifically asked, okay, yes, you're saying that this is not a government drone program. Is it a private contractor that has been authorized by a DoD contract? That's the question the press needs to ask. And then if they say no, I believe they're lying. Can I prove it? No, but there's I'm going to show you a lot of interesting things tonight that are going to make you question that. What else do we know? We know these drones have a very long battery life, much longer than a civilian hobby drone, much longer. We're talking hours. We know that they're evasive. Police drones that have went to try to intercept have encountered numerous problems. These, I'm going to call them contractor drones. They're military drones, but I'm going to call them contractor drones. These contractor drones black out, right? So it would be equivalent of if you were driving along and you were getting chased by a police car or cruiser and you blacked out your lights. It's very, very hard to see you at nighttime. Okay, unless there's a lot of street lights around you. Very, very hard to see you. They are not operating on a radio signal. We know that because attempts to bring them down with traditional means, where you're overpowering that radio signal. That's how it's done. Those have failed. And so if you watched the stream that I did with Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival last week, that was because he knows a little bit more about drones than I do. That was one of the questions I asked him. I'm like, well, if they're not operating this with a radio signal, how is it being done? And it didn't occur to me until I started diving down what I found, that this could be done with AI. You could, these vehicles, these contractor vehicles could be programmed with AI to operate independently without that radio signal. And no, they're not going to be vulnerable to that. They're not going to be vulnerable to the traditional type of attack that would take down a drone. Okay. We know also that they seem to have some kind of offensive capabilities, because some drones, civilian drones that have tried to approach them, are being disabled by these contractor vehicles. Okay. You following so far? Is everything adding up with everything that you saw? This is what we know so far. Let me check your chat, and then we'll go on to the next segment. By the way, folks, if you're enjoying this at all, if you're getting anything of value, please consider giving me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to check the links down below for the description down below for some links and product discount codes. Helps me out a little bit. Please record this if you can. And I grant full permission to remix, reshare, whatever you want to do. If you want to share this as a short on your channel, I am not going to copy strike that. I just want to get the information out there for people. All right, let me scroll back here. Let's check your chat. So as I'm saying this, as I'm checking your chat, I'm curious. Hang on. All right. That was my camera, I think. As I'm checking your chat, what I want you to do is let me know what type of contractors come to mind for you that could pull this off. What type of, you guys know who some of these players are, right? Just skipping over stuff. Okay, so Wayne says, I think it's ours. They follow FAA rules. They don't show heat on thermals. That's interesting, too. I didn't talk about that. They have a blackout switch. Yep. The government doesn't care and is currently gaslighting us. Yep. And that's what I'm going to get to next, is that because we haven't had some transparency, what has been the cost of that? That's the next part of this. Thank you. Thank you, Jonesy. Appreciate that. There's Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival. Appreciate you, brother. How are you doing tonight? Let's see. I wouldn't be concerned about drones in New Jersey at all, except Holly Evans isn't there. The fact that the drones recognize Thanksgiving that I agree. And actually, Mrs. Sarge was the one who pointed that out to me, because we were having a discussion early on, like, what do you think these things are? And she said, well, they didn't appear on Thanksgiving, so that tells you it's probably an American company. She's not just a pretty face, guys. My wife is smart. My girl's wicked smart. Again, on the American people. Toilet bowl to use propaganda. Okay, gotcha. I gotcha. All right, let me put that back up in case people wanted to read it. There we go. Yep. Yeah, and in the interest of national security, that's always going to be what it said. In the interest of national security, they will lie if they have to, right? I mean, it wouldn't be the first time, right? Do we all remember President Obama standing in front of the American people and saying nobody's listening to your phone calls? And then Edward Snowden happened, and it turned out that President Obama was lying. Did he not know? I don't know. Maybe. I find that hard to believe that he didn't know. Yep. That's what I think it is. That's why they're not responding to radio transmissions. I am sorry about the camera here, guys. I think that glitch you're seeing is me. I don't think I'm being squelched yet. Complete autonomous prep and what's hard. Okay. Some decision making. Well, I mean, and I would argue that we don't really have true advanced AI yet. Like, as far as I know, we're not there yet. They have some decision making skills. That's a good clarification. That was one of the things that people were suggesting. Certainly possible. I believe that where we're at with this level of technology, that they could program it pre-mission to go and do what it's doing and then return, and also include some ability for evasion and things like that. Yep, those are some people. Lee's got it right there. Those are some people with some high-tech capabilities right there. In fact, Raytheon's got some really cool stuff. My uncle worked for Raytheon for the second part of his career. He was an Air Force pilot for his first half of his career, and he worked on the navigation chip for the Patriot missile. Dude was smart, like wicked smart. And Raytheon's got direct energy weapons, basically lasers that can melt a plane out of the sky. Now that's actually been around for a while, but now you're starting to hear about it. Hey, Steve, it's good to see you. Appreciate you. Honeywell's another one. Okay. Why wouldn't Trump use the drones to secure the election somehow? I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Yep, only Americans are taking Thanksgiving off, and I bet you won't see these drones at Christmas time either. MIT is the main shareholder of Bose. The university collects the profits from the Bose Corporation. And Lockheed, there you go, is another one. Now, none of the ones that have been mentioned so far are the company that I'm thinking about. Yep, yeah, that's so their direct energy weapons actually have been around for a while. Okay. I heard about them from people in the military 10 years ago. Okay, 10 years ago, I know people who were talking about this before it was public knowledge. And of course, then I'm just going to go on word of mouth, like they're telling me about these things. I've heard about all kinds of things, right? I've heard about that there's this like skin, for lack of a better term, it's not really skin, that's being tested on planes that helps, it like ripples the current around the plane so that it helps evade radar. I don't know. Have I ever seen it? No. Have I ever seen any files on this thing? No. Just things that people talk about, I've seen Skunk Works is part of Lockheed, Sander. Boston Dynamics is they develop some robots and stuff like that. And then there's General Dynamics. Now, General Dynamics does make drones. As far as I know, they do some other stuff for them as well. Okay, so Wayne's saying the direct energy weapons go back even further than I'm thinking. Okay. And there's also, I've heard that there's how do I describe this? I don't even know how to describe it. That there's a displacement camouflage that has been around for a while. It may be hard to move, or it might require a lot of power to do, but it basically, you've seen the Predator movie that it kind of camouflages to the area around you. That's what this technology can do. How does it work? I don't know. I just heard about it. Again, I don't have any proof. People talk, people say, I saw this thing and I saw this thing. And it's like, well, okay, some of it's probably real, right? All right, so let's move on to this. So where are we at now? By being transparent with the American people, what's the consequence of this? Well, the consequence has been people are scared. People are canceling their holiday travel. I actually know people that I've talked to that are now thinking about not doing their holiday travel to New Jersey area because of this. Citizens are now losing their private drone rights. So now you could say, well, that's not part of the Constitution, Sarge. Okay, all right. I don't have a drone, right? But do I like it when people's rights are taken away? No. And that's already happening now. Temporarily, sure. Things start temporarily, right? Where does it go from here? So that's already happening. And people are shooting into the sky at these things, which is also very dangerous, right? So we're already at a place where there's some negative outcomes going on. And it's now it's not just taking people's rights away, it's making them scared and it's putting people in danger. The time to come forward has passed. The time to come forward has passed. Okay. And they didn't have to, whatever contractor is doing this, they didn't have to say, this is exactly what we're doing. All that needed to happen to calm people down was for somebody from the Pentagon to say, yep, we know what this is. This is one of our contractors. We're fully aware of it. We're monitoring it. There's no danger to you all. This is perfectly safe, and they will be done with their tests soon. Until then, thank you for being concerned about the country, yada, yada, yada. That's all they had to do, and it doesn't reveal any secrets. That's all. But instead, they gaslit. And we don't know what these things are. And then we think they're just, most of what you're seeing out there is just hobby drones, or you're mistaking it for planes. Like you're just gaslighting people and saying telling them they're stupid. And so now people are getting angry. And take a breath, Sarge. It didn't have to come to this. Okay. It didn't have to come to this. So I'm going to go into my evidence now, because I know this is what you guys have been waiting for. And I want to say one more time before I get into this, feel free to record what we're about to do. Feel free to share this. Feel free to remix and use it as a short on your channel or a reel or TikTok thing or whatever. Okay. So I started digging into this hardcore. Like I've now at this point spent too much time out of my life, and I actually regret it. Like this week, I was really starting to, as I dug further and further into this, wishing that I hadn't stepped in this big pile of stinking doo-doo. But there's a company that in 2019 was their DoD contractor, and they went by the name of Robotics Research. And they had presented to, now again, before I go any further, remember, I don't have proof that this is who's doing it. I'm going to show you stuff that makes me think this is who's doing it. Okay. So use your own critical thinking skills and deductive reasoning skills. So there's this company called Robotics Research, and they have been a DoD contractor for a while. Some of you may have heard of them if you've been in the military. They develop, among other things, autonomous trucks that literally can move, pick up packages, and park them. And from what I can see, it's at least as good as the Tesla AI technology for that, if not better. It's really freaking impressive stuff. And then in around 2019 or so, right? And some of this stuff's been really hard to find, guys. As soon as I started like going down this rabbit hole, some stuff has already been scrubbed. It's been really hard to pull up concrete information, but I'm going to show you everything I got. Bear with me. They showed off a drone there's this thing called Project Convergence. Some of you have heard of this, right? Military guys, you probably heard of this. Project Convergence is one of those opportunities where you can show off new technology to the DoD, and they could say, hey, we like that. We'd like to pay you to develop that for us. Okay. And this drone is called the Pegasus. Well, there's several different versions of it. It may have changed names since then, because there's not, after 2021 or so, the trail gets kind of cold and it's hard to find anything after that. But 2019, then they got this thing called the Pegasus. And what this thing can do This is really freaking impressive, guys. So Forterra, which is, by the way, they changed their name to Forterra after the contract. Forterra, your stuff's really cool and really impressive. And if this is you that's doing this New Jersey thing, please come forward and just all you have to do is tell people like, hey, we're just testing some stuff. It's nobody's in danger, right? Nobody, and that would clear this all up. That's all it takes. And if it's not you, then whoever the contractor is, if you're watching this, that's all you have to do is just come forward and say, we can't tell you exactly what we're doing, but you're not in danger. This is us. We're doing this for the defense of the country. Okay. So what this little drone, this Pegasus, could do, and there was 3 versions back in 2021, the Pegasus 1, 2, and 3. The 3 is a very large one. Interesting. The 3 has an 8-hour battery, according to their website. Well, not from their website, from an article I found from 2021. An 8-hour battery. Okay. This thing, its primary function is to go into environments and map the environment. And then it takes that map and it brings it back to base. And then the base can develop 3D models so that soldiers will have a 3D model of the battlefield and can go in. Now, why would they be doing this in New Jersey? They're not going into battle in New Jersey. Everybody calm down. Okay, everybody calm down. They're doing this because they need to know if it works in a suburban environment. That's my theory. Okay. They need to know, and they're also getting some other data by this, right? If it's them, right? So again, remember, I'm just all hypothetically here. We're just talking hypothetically. They're getting data on like, okay, so then when there's a response drone that comes up to meet it, how does our evasion technology work? How does our countermeasures work? Okay. All right. Let me check your questions before I go into showing you some of the articles that I found on this thing. And cool, other cool features of this thing. So this Pegasus thing they literally like nicknamed it the Transformer. It can go from a ground unit to an air unit. Interesting. That's from 2021. In 3 years, is it possible that they've developed one that can go from water to air? Yeah, definitely. A lot of people are saying they're seeing these drones go out over the ocean. Is that it? I don't know. I'm just, we're putting pieces together here. Let me check your questions, then I'm going to show you the articles that I found, okay? Yes, we are behind. Yeah, that's right, too. I forgot about the Star Wars program. Thank you, Steve. We are behind China in drone development. I don't know if that's what you meant there. JS Genesis Designs. Okay, plasma scan. It's also supposed to make aircraft more efficient by disruption of vortices forming on the aircraft skin. So thank you. Somebody else has heard of what I was talking about. There you go. There you go, Wayne. So it's good to know that the people who are feeding me information were feeding me factually correct information. They make me nervous too, toilet bowl. But I think if it's what I think it is, what I'm talking about here tonight, I feel a lot better. And that's why I'm sharing this, because I feel a lot better if it's our stuff and the purpose is to make our army better, to protect our troops and save lives. That makes me feel a lot better. And that's all that needed to be said, instead of having people trying to figure out, what are these things? Are they space aliens? Is it Russia? Or are we about to get nuked? Like, what the heck is going on? That shouldn't, once it started to get to that level of conspiracy theory, they had a responsibility to the American people, not just this company, but more specifically DOD, to say, hey, everybody calm down. We know what this is. It's our tech. We're just checking some stuff to make sure it works okay. Nobody's in any danger. There's no weapons being deployed or anything like that. Stand down, right? That's all that needed to happen. Yep, that's true. Yeah, most people who work directly with this stuff, they are under NDAs and they're not going to be able to tell you what's going on. But stuff does leak out, I'm not sure about that. I don't know anything about that, Wayne. If you're still on Instagram, send me a link to that. I'd like to check that out. Yeah, people who are under NDAs can get into massive legal trouble for any of this stuff. Sure. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in just a second. No, it is not operating out of there. Their base, they probably have multiple buildings, is my guess. I am so sorry about the camera, guys. I'm pretty sure that's me. That's not YouTube. Um, they have multiple bases. The base that's closest to them is in Maryland. So let me go ahead and I'm going to start sharing screens. So bear with me here because I'm not great at this technology. Share screen. Okay, hang on. All right, let's go to their website first. Okay, I think this is their website. All right, so this is the Forterra website. Now they changed their name from Robotics Research after they got the contract. That took me a little while to figure out as well, but this is them, and this is the Popular Science article that's from 2021. And after this, it's really hard to find any information about these Pegasus drones. So this was what it looked like 3 years ago. You can imagine it's probably developed quite a bit since then. So these multitasking machines can roll across the ground or fly through the air. There you go. Now, here's what I want you to think about as I look at this picture for a second, okay? Turn it on its side, right? In your mind, turn that on its side. I probably could have done a picture and rotated it to show you that. And that is, so if you imagine like this here is pointing this way. I don't know if my mouse is showing to you guys. And this here is pointing that way. That profile, to me, is what I'm seeing in some of the higher resolution videos that are like, there's a little bit more light, so you can see that there's some kind of profile there. That's what it looks like to me. Okay. This was, again, first introduced in Project Convergence. Let's see. Okay, read down the right. See where I'm going to put it in the middle of the screen there. The Pegasus 3 can travel for up to 8 hours. Okay, website here is forterra.com. They're probably going to get blown up tonight, like with like massive traffic. I mean, they're going to get a ton of traffic. And so this one was like a quadcopter with tank tracks, like small tank tracks, and there's some cool videos out there too. I'm going to show you. No, I can't show you the video, but if you go on YouTube, there's an old video I found of this, and it wasn't. Did I find it on the Forterra? Because Forterra actually has a YouTube channel. It might have been somebody else was showing it, and it's really freaking cool, dude. Like this thing it's really amazing. Now, if I scroll down here a little bit, this is their primary bread and butter here, these trucks. Okay. This is the stuff that they do. All right. So that's that. Let me stop sharing this one and I'm going to go to my next little piece. Okay. So bear with me here. You guys know I'm not great with this technology. If you get anything of value out of this, if you're enjoying this discussion, give me a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. All right. Next one. Share screen. Okay. We did their page. Let's go to this one here. All right, this is from TechCrunch, independent website, and Robotic Research. That's their old name again. There's some of their trucks there on the left, I think, or I don't know if those. No, it says it's from them. Okay, 200. They were raising money to build out some of these autonomous trucks. Now you can go check this stuff out. It is really cool what they're doing. These trucks are really amazing what they can do. It's basically they're AI driven, and from what I can tell, so they use Luminar. I think they collaborated with Luminar, is what it looks like to me. That's a LiDAR-based system, so similar to what the Teslas use. Okay, you could check them out. Bear with me here. Let's see if I thought there was something on this one about the. Okay, this is what I wanted to read. So right in the middle of the screen there, this is the CEO of the company speaking, and he says, robotics research AI's go-to strategy is to focus on the low-hanging fruits, says Lakazi, or the areas where there are few regulations or easy regulations to work around. Thought that was kind of interesting. And that's exactly, if this is a defense contractor that's doing this, whether it's Forterra or somebody else, that's exactly what's happening. There's a workaround of the truth. There's a workaround of regulations. They keep saying no laws have been broken. Yeah, that's true. No laws have been broken, right? When DoD awards a contract for defense development, there's a level of secrecy that's allowed with that, that allows them to not tell you what these things are or what's being developed or why. And the FAA apparently issued some special permits on November 18th. All right. Somebody else can go dig into that one. I don't have that article up, but you can go look that one up. The FAA issued some special permits, and that information you can't pull up what the permit's for. You just can't. Let's go to the next one. Now, Picatinny Arsenal is mentioned in one of these things, that they were part of the maybe the decision. I don't know if I'm wording this right. Part of the decision making for awarding the contract for drone development. So if Picatinny Arsenal was in on this and said, "Hey, we like these guys, give them some money to develop some stuff for us," then yeah, they absolutely could have granted them permission. Yeah, come test in our space too, right? And again, it could have been another contractor. Here's what's important to remember. There is like over a dozen defense contractors in this area. It's a cluster of defense contractors in this little area around Somerset, New Jersey. All right, share screen. Bear with me. Let's see. Let's go to this one here. All right. Robotic Research awarded SBR Phase 2 contract for a Defense Threat Reduction Agency. Planned upgrades included changes to the airframe, battery, and computing and sensing capabilities. That was for the Pegasus. All right. Again, this is 2021, and they were planning upgrades. It probably looks a little bit different. It probably has better capabilities. It's probably even bigger now. Okay. Scrolling down a little bit here. I'm just trying to skip over stuff you don't need to go too deep into. So those of you guys who are watching this who are military, have you ever seen this Pegasus? Have you seen it in action or like on any events that you're at? All right, let me stop that one. We're going to go to the next one. All right, let me scroll. Actually, before I go to the next one, let me scroll up a little bit. Plasma scan. I just want to see if I missed anything. Camouflage. Yep. Okay. I just want to see if I missed anything from you guys. That's a good question. Why wouldn't they? Let's speculate a little bit. Maybe they wanted to be seen. Maybe they wanted to see, let's scramble some police drones and see, can we evade those? Can we take those, disable those if we need to? So maybe it was just a safety thing. Maybe they don't generally, maybe they, if this is an American company, and I'm not saying, again, I can't say for sure that it's Forterra. This seems to point in that direction, right? But if they're an American company, you would hope that they're trying to follow some safety standards, and so it's being tested at nighttime when less people were likely to see them, except that these things are so huge that everybody saw them. Coffee first. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas. Appreciate you. Oh, no worries. You can email me too. You know how to reach me, Wayne, businesswithsarge@gmail.com. If it's a private company and it's advertising me as genius, for sure. If this was just some private company, they're going to sell tons of these things, whatever they are. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. They'll face probably some legal actions too, but maybe not. Everybody keeps saying they're not breaking any laws, so maybe not. 100%. It's called 5th generation warfare. It will be cyber attacks, AI, drones. You're going to have, we're not far off from these robot soldiers. They already kind of exist. They just haven't really been deployed yet. You guys can look up like Boston Dynamics and stuff like that, what they've done with their robots. I don't know the battery life, the capabilities on that stuff, just the stuff that you can see on their YouTube channel. I think so. Cold-hearted bastard, thank you for lurking and joining us. Appreciate you. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yep. Yeah, this stuff's kind of new, right? They use toll trucks that are AI generated with no drivers now in Olympic mines in Australia. I didn't know that. I do know that in California they've got those completely autonomous taxi cabs. There's no human driver. It's a robot driven taxi cab in California. You can go on YouTube. That stuff's easy to find. All right, let's go to my next thing here. I got a couple more for you. Bear with me. Share screen. I think we looked at all that. Okay, this one, we haven't looked at this one yet. So I think I got three more things to show you. All right. So here we go. This is the Pegasus again. That's probably the 1 or 2. That's probably one of the smaller ones. All right. I know it says Pegasus 3 drone. I don't know. I have a feeling that's the 1 or the 2. Here's interesting. This was in, again, 2021. Remember, I said after 2021, it's real hard to find information about this thing. One journalist called it the most important thing the Army is doing today. That's a pretty powerful quote. It's part of autonomous vehicles, a family of autonomous vehicles. Okay, I've already told you all that stuff. Major James McConville, Army Chief of Staff, said that Project Convergence was a major step forward in transforming the United States Army for the next 40 years. And the sentiments were shared by General John Murray, Army's Future Command. This may not be the most important thing Army Futures Command is working on. It may be the most important thing that the Army is doing today. All right, so here you go. Pegasus 3 was able to take flight as a UAS, but then transformed to a ground roving vehicle where it could take part in simple surveillance operations or be deployed, listen to this, to create detailed 3D maps. It is equipped with artificial intelligence, which allows the vehicle to avoid obstacles while on the move. It is an eye in the sky and mapping tool on the ground. The small drone, which can carry 10 pounds of cargo. So if the small one can carry 10 pounds of cargo, I can't imagine what a large one would carry. Pegasus 3 can take part in ground operations for up to 4 hours. Flight missions are currently limited to 20 minutes. That's interesting because their website says 8 hours. Okay. So let's stop that one. I don't think there's anything more. Oh, wait a minute. Multiple cameras and encrypted data link that provides communication back to the operator. Unique GPS denied functionality, which enables it to perform missions individually as part of a group. This could include other Pegasus units as well as manned and unmanned units. Pegasus units can be controlled by a Pocket Universal Controller, which can transmit autonomous missions to multiple systems simultaneously. They're saying these things are flying in formation in New Jersey. If it's these things again. All right, let's close that one out. Got 2 more for you. Bear with me, and then we're going to call this one a day. Next thing, unmanned aerial systems. Thank you, Lee. I didn't know what that acronym was. Thank you. Looks more like a Gargamel than a Pegasus. Yep, that's the thing is, Teamsters and everybody else. Again, we're not just talking about like these guys. There's several companies developing this. Drivers. I know they said this would already happen by now. Unfortunately, truck drivers probably are in the future going to be phased way down. There'll be a lot less human drivers in the future. And that's really sad. It really is. And there's going to be other jobs. I mean, there's actually there's 2 or 3 companies that I know about right now that have an AI therapist. So you want to talk to somebody about feelings? Here, you don't get a person, you get a robot, an unthinking, unfeeling robot. It's going to take over everything. And you guys know, I'm not completely anti-AI. I'm not. I use AI for certain things for my channel. I'm not against it. I'm worried about displacement of jobs. Yeah, and even in some of the articles, they'll say like, "Oh, this will create more jobs." Maybe in the beginning to build these things. Maybe in the beginning. All right, let's keep going. Again, that's truth, right? If I have a company that makes these things and I say, yeah, we're creating this thing and it's going to create more jobs. I'm speaking the truth. It's going to create more jobs for my company in the beginning. Right? That's the truth. Technically, that would pass a lie detector. All right, let's keep going. Share screen. All right. I don't want to get, that's going to get me a copyright for you if I go into that. So let's not do that. It's all, I'm just looking at YouTube channel stuff, other people's stuff. That's all. All right. I think I got two more. Let's go to this one. All right. Again, this is probably 2021 we're looking at. These guys are real good with artificial intelligence and making autonomous vehicles. And if you go to their website, it talks about their 3D mapping technology. This talks about the Pegasus has autonomy, collecting and analyze data. Again, I don't think they're like, if it's these guys and not somebody else, I don't think they're pulling your data specifically. I don't know for sure, but I don't think that's it. I think they're testing this mapping technology because the way that people are describing these flight patterns, that adds up of like these grid-like patterns. GPS. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm going to put it in the middle of the screen there. Warlock is a GPS-denied localization device for dismounts. It's used to increase the safety and security of both the warfighters and first responders. The device attaches to the foot of operators and sends location information to a smartphone. So they've got some really cool toys attached to these things, guys. Adversarial autonomy. So they're kind of hinting at they have ways of countermeasures against drones that are trying to take them out. It has situational awareness. In LiDAR, that reads to me that it has the ability to detect other drones that are pursuing it and evade them, and obstacles, of course. Okay, there's one of their cool trucks. Again, go on YouTube, check some of this stuff out, guys. It's really cool stuff. All right, so there's some of the Pegasus there. Again, those look like smaller ones to me. I searched and searched and searched, and I cannot find any of the big ones, right? So if they have stuff that's bigger than this here on the right-hand side of the screen, and I suspect they do, I can't find it. It's scrubbed, or it's not, it was never put up or whatever. All right. So we got one more. Let's stop sharing that one. And last little bit here. Okay. And then I found this cool little article from the Daily Mall. Check this out. Uncovered files reveal secret operation at center of the drone invasion. Why the White House can deny it. Pay attention, folks. This is important. Official records show the Army has been developing and testing counterterrorism drones in New Jersey for years, amid claims of a government cover-up. 2018 defense contractor awarded 50 million big ones to a private robotics company to develop craft capable of creating 3D maps of urban areas for counter weapons of mass destruction program. The contract was given out by the Army's Armament Research, Development and Engineering, which is located where, folks? At the Picatinny Arsenal in Rockaway, New Jersey, where mystery drones were first reported last month. Wow, that's interesting. Meanwhile, documents show that the Federal Aviation issued an air restriction alert on November 21st, prohibiting flights over Picatinny Air Base for special security reasons through December 26th. So, folks, don't be surprised if this nonsense stops the day after Christmas. The White House has claimed, and it may not, they could extend it, right? The White House has claimed the drone sightings, which coincidentally began on November 18th, are not a foreign adversary, pose no threat, and are not part of a U.S. military operation. Retired CIA agents officer Rudy Ridolfi told the Daily Mail, the FAA notice shows U.S. drone testing is happening in the area. It's a warning for others to stay out of the area during those dates. While the nature of the testing isn't specified, it's most likely the testing of payloads related to reconnaissance. But Matt Sloan, founder of drone consulting from AI Skyfire, told Daily Mail that the sightings could be a contractor developing these drones for DoD. What did Sarge tell you 2 weeks ago? The DoD can deny claims of third-party technologies if the drones were placed on a secure tech list for contract disclosures, which means the government is applying special restrictions to the information. The restrictions are added when technologies protect national security or keep advanced systems hidden from hostile nations. And the developer holds primary liability if the government is not operating the drones. In other words, if things go wrong, let me come back to you. If things go wrong, and whether it's Forterra, Robotics Research, whatever you guys are calling yourselves now, or if it's Lockheed or somebody else, if it's a special government contract like this and it screws up and something crashes through somebody's home, the government can't be sued. Government can't be sued. Who can be sued? Maybe the defense contractor. I don't know. You'd have to look at that. But these guys have boatloads of money. Boatloads of money. So your little lawyer that you can hire versus the team of like best lawyers in the country, good luck with that. All right. So that's how this works, folks. Now, I don't know for sure that it's Forterra. There's certainly a lot of smoke there, right? I want to know, what do you think? Let me know in comments now, right now, in your chat. As I start to wind this one down, and I'm going to look at the poll question in a second. And again, if you got anything value out of this, give me a thumbs up. Even if I just entertained you and you think my theory is complete BS, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs down if you hate me. That's okay too. Appreciate you. Appreciate you sharing a little bit of your time with me. Let me check chat one more time. We're going to the poll, and then we're wrapping this one up. All right. Yes, that's right. I should have said that. The Association of the United States Army. That was one of the articles. Bacon, how you doing tonight? Okay. If AI ever does run amok, I mean, we should all be worried. I agree, James. I agree. So those are called what? Phantom posts or ghost jobs or whatever. Like companies do this. They'll post that they have jobs available and they'll collect resumes, but they're never actually like calling anybody. That's the thing. I have crossed up pineapple. Pineapple's good on pizza. I don't care what you say. I'll eat it. It's not my favorite thing. You guys are gonna laugh. I actually like broccoli on pizza. Broccoli on pizza is like one of my favorite things. Pickles on pizza is really good. Try that sometime. I know somebody out there is like, that's disgusting. Sorry, you're disgusting. Just try it. Try broccoli on pizza too. Not at the same time though. Don't put them on the same time. You no longer need to. Okay, so with LiDAR on a drone, you no longer need to pull assets from a squadron to have higher. It was resource draining and time consuming. Yep. Just checking to see if I miss anything. LiDAR can search for hidden lines, cages, bunkers, or anything else hiding underground. Yeah, and they would need to test this, right? So people are going to say, well, Sarge, this is BS. Why wouldn't they test it on one of their proving grounds or whatever? Who's to say they didn't already? Now they need more data. Maybe this is maybe this is the second step or the third step or the last step before these things get handed over, right? That they actually needed, like actual suburban data that, with all of these like other interference things like aircraft in the area and police drones going to check them out. I mean, that generates a ton of good data for one of these companies. And I guess maybe that answers my question. Maybe that answers my question of why wouldn't they tell us, is that they needed that data too, of like, can our drones evade other drones? Can we disable police drones or whatever? Maybe that's the reason they couldn't tell us. So again, go for it. I agree. That's what we're heading towards. Maki 7405005. Hey man, radio. I don't know if I'm right. This is my theory. Okay, it could just as easily be another contractor. I don't think it's Little Green Men. Again, if you believe in that, that's okay. I'm not saying those things can't exist. I'm saying this doesn't seem like that to me. And you can disagree. You can put it in comments or chat. Like, no, you're completely this is ridiculous. This is aliens from outer space. That's fine. I will respect your opinion on it. The nuclear thing had me a little bit nervous for a minute, but I don't think that's it. And I told you why at the start of the stream. So yeah. And so, all right. So think about. Let me raise one more point here. So if you guys did enjoy watching like the congressional hearings with David Grush and Louis Elizondo and those guys, consistently one of the messages that they've all been saying is, whether or not you want to believe in space aliens, forget that for a second. Just put that on mind for a second. What they consistently said is that there is something inherently wrong when contractors can have this level of defense contracts can have this level of secrecy that even our House Ways and Means and intelligence committees don't know what the money's being used for. There's something there that needs to be fixed. Now, this helps bring a little bit of light to that, maybe, right? So if you're a fan of David Grush or Luis Elizondo, maybe this helps that cause a little bit. That, like, look at the chaos this has caused. Look at the anger, the frustration, the anxiety. People doing dangerous things like shooting at these things. People canceling their travel vacations to see their family. This has caused a lot of problems for people, and this is all real. If it's a defense contractor for terror or somebody else, this just shines light on like why there's got to be more oversight. It can't be this compartmentalized. I get the need for secrecy to protect our technologies. I get that. But it can't be so compartmentalized that people's safety is put in jeopardy. People's mental health is put in jeopardy. That I have a problem with that. And maybe you do too if you're watching this. Steve says, no, that's not what qualified immunity is. Okay. I dug into this hard, guys. And again, the further I got into this rabbit hole, the more I almost wished I hadn't. If I could go back 2 weeks ago, I think I would have just said, Sarge, get away from that story. You're not going to like what you see. A lot of project work. And even, I talked to you guys before about how my uncle had worked on the Patriot missile. At some point, that was probably a black budget project. All right. I appreciate everybody's thoughts on this. We're going to go ahead and start to wrap this one up. Let's go to the poll. I want to see what you guys said, how you voted. 27 votes. Ooh, close. Close. Would you trade some of the safety of the nation? Wait, how did I word that? Oh, okay. Would you trade some of the safety of the nation, the lives of American soldiers, for transparency? And 41% of you said yes. 59% of you said no. It's a hard question. It's a hard question. I respect both sides of that, really. Again, I want to say one last time before I do my closing statement here that I give full permission for anybody to use any portion of this live stream to remix for a short, reel, whatever. If you want to name me in it, great. If you don't put my name in there, okay, whatever. It would be nice if you did. Share this with friends who are interested in this story, who've been talking about the drones. If you've recorded it, thank you. And I want to say one more time for everybody out there in internet land, I'm a very happy person. My life is great. I love my wife. I love my job. I would never do anything to hurt anybody, including myself. So if I suddenly disappear, tell my story, folks. Okay. And let's end with one last little piece here. So I always end my streams with something positive, and it's going to be a little bit unrelated. It's going to be a lot unrelated to what we were talking about tonight. But I want to get us into a little bit different mindset here to end this one out. My question for you is, do you need, if you're out there and somebody has hurt you, like really hurt you, a serious hurt, a big hurt, do you need an apology to move on? Do you need to hear from them, I'm sorry, to move on? Is it enough for you to see that that person is changing their ways, right? And it's just there's no right or wrong answer to that. If you need an apology, it's okay. If you don't, it's okay. It's just something to think about, because a lot of people out there do have a hard time saying they're sorry. And it's something that I thought about this week with another scenario. And my thought on this was, I don't think I need somebody to say I'm sorry. It's nice when they do, but I don't think I need that. What I need to see if somebody's hurt me is that they're working on it, that they're changing, right? And I just thought that was an interesting um, thought to contemplate. So I wanted to share that out for everybody else out there. If you're dealing with somebody in your life has hurt you in a big way, do you need that apology, or is it enough to see that they're changing? Okay, that they're doing better on how they treat you or other people, or whatever the situation may be. Okay. I really appreciate everybody tonight. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all, especially my military guys, for filling in some of the blanks there. Appreciate it. You guys know I'm not military. Sarge is just a nickname. So thank you for those of you who helped to fill in some of the answers there. Everybody have a great weekend. Christmas is coming up. You might see me again one more time before Christmas, but if not, Merry Christmas. We got a great new year ahead of us. Stay safe. Keep planting your seeds. Keep stacking your silver. This is Prepping with Sarge.